it's Nicole. Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I have the news release from Mooncat. This is their new Band of Misfits Part 2 collection. The Band of Misfits Part 2 collection is made up of 4 prototypes that were previously supposed to be released in other collections, and they decided to put them in this one. The Band of Misfits 2 collection is available right now on the Mooncat website, and this collection is considered limited edition. That they do usually restock these if they do sell out. It's usually not like a one single batch thing, but I don't really know. Rue, what are you doing to the tripod, Rue? The products featured in today's video were gifted to me by Mooncat. However, this video is not sponsored. Thank you, Mooncat, for sending these over to me. So as always, in the description box, I will have links to where you can pick these polishes up, links to the Mooncat's website, social media pages, my social media pages, and of course, timestamps. Let's just get right into this video. The first polish up is called Atomica, and Mooncat describes this one as a light moss green metallic lacquer. Okay, once again, the dogs are with me, so those are the sounds you're hearing. Atomica had a fantastic formula. It also was a one coater on me. This is a super frosty looking shade. Like, even though it is in fact a green color, I feel like it still looks very icy and frosty. I do agree with the brand's color description for this particular shade. However, on top of it being that kind of sea mossy and also a very icy looking green, it also has like a very cool tone look to it. And I found that I was also seeing what looked like kind of like a tealish color on the very edges of my nail. I don't know if I would necessarily call this one color shifty per se, but you're definitely going to be seeing like various tones of green and teal on your nail. My unofficial guess as someone who was not in fact in the lab with the Mooncat, I almost said lab-magicians. Chemists probably would be a better word to use instead of lab magicians. I would hazard a guess that the actual base in here is actually more of like a tealish bluish kind of color. And then whatever kind of like pigments they added in to make it more sea mossy and metallic-y frostiness. Wow, that is really loud, Rue. Whatever they added in to make it so frosty and metallic looking is what caused this one to lighten up significantly. Even though this particular shade is super metallic and frosty, I did not find that it showed brush strokes. My swatches for this shade is going to be showing this one in 2 coats plus glossy top coat. Atomica is going to remove super duper easily but incredibly messy from all of those metallic-y pigments. I would highly recommend the soak off method or a peel off base coat for the easiest and also cleanest removal experience, but you could do whatever you want. The next polish up is called the Firebird, and Mooncat describes this one as a black to plum thermal lacquer filled with an orange shimmer. In the cold state, it looks black, and in the warmest state, it is a deep plum. The Firebird had a really good but very thick formula.
Damn, boy, he's thick!
I generally find for Mooncat's thermals that these are all always going to be fairly on the thicker side. I do not find this thermal or any of Mooncat's thermals difficult to apply, but they are definitely thick. In my personal opinion, in the cold state, I did find that the Firebird, to my eye, was a very, very, very dark purple. I usually find for thermals that very oftentimes when it says it's black, it's very rarely black. It's usually a really, 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 really dark color that basically is gonna look black, especially in lower lighting, but in brighter lighting, you can for sure see like an actual color to it. It's not like pitch black. And in the warmest state, I would describe that one as the darker end of a medium purple. It's not a super bright color. I was honestly pleasantly surprised that this one was able to reach full opacity on me in 2 coats in both color states. On the first coat in the cold state, it's definitely a 1 coater, but to get the warm state opaque, you're gonna need that 2nd coat. While the brand does describe the flakies in here as being orange, I feel like they're more of kind of like a reddish to orange. The color shift is kind of slight, but I was indeed seeing red and orange, and these flakies are super, super, super duper tiny. The flakies do not dry down textured at all, but this one does dry down very, very dull, so you will in fact want top coat for a nice glossy finish. Removal is gonna be pretty easy on this one. The flakies will make a bit of mess. I did not personally experience any stain with this particular shade, but I feel like there's some potential for that here. Removal for this particular shade is not going to be overly difficult. You could scrub it off if you really wanted. Why you would do that, I don't know. Use the soak off method or a peel off base coat. The next polish up is called Nightbreak, and Mooncat describes this one as a light lavender metallic lacquer. Nightbreak also was a 1 coater on me, and it also had a fantastic formula. This is a super frosty lavender shade. So similar to how the last frosty metallic-y shade, it seemed to have like multiple colors happening, but I was really hesitant to call it a true color shift. For this particular particular shade, I was seeing pink and purple on my nails. I think there's a very slight color shift, but I wouldn't go so far as to describe this one as being color shifty. I know that doesn't sound like it makes sense, but that's the best way that I can describe it. Like, I'm seeing pink and purple on my nail, but it doesn't feel like it's super color shifty. I think whether or not this one is pink or purple is going to depend heavily on lighting and just lighting. I did notice that when wet, this polish does have some brush strokes in it. I do think that depending on your application for this particular shade, you may or may not have some brush strokes with it. I found that on a couple of my nails, I for sure was having brush strokes, and then on other nails, I wasn't seeing it as clearly. I did notice that on my nails where I did in fact see some brush strokes, I'm pretty sure on the live swatch nail is one of the nails that you can see some brush strokes on my finger. I did find that once I added top coat, that the top coat, I don't know, re-wet the polish and was able to smooth out those brush strokes really nicely for me. So it goes from being fairly obvious brush strokes in some places to like you really have to search for the brush strokes. But I wouldn't say that this is the most brush strokey polish because the frostiness of this particular one, it's like you can see the little pigment speckle sizes. So it kind of loses the brush strokiness. Like I'm really hoping that my footage explains what I'm trying to say here, because I feel like it's really hard to say, oh, it's brush strokey, but not that. Yeah, I'm trying my best, y'all. My full-length swatches for Nightbreak show this one in 2 coats plus glossy top coat. Once again, removal is going to be fairly easy, but very messy, especially if you scrub this one off. Use the soak off method or a peel off base coat. And the final polish in this release is called Sugar and Spice Topper. And Mooncat describes this one as a matte topper filled with multicolored iridescent flakies and micro holographic glitter in a clear base. I wanted to really stress the matte of it all in this particular shade because guess who didn't realize it was matte when they swatched it? Me! This girl! I'm gonna be re-swatching this one later today to show what it looks like when it's completely dried down, because I didn't realize that when I was swatching it. I just thought it dried down very, very dull.
I've done some dumb things. and I'll do dumb things again.
So Sugar and Spice Topper had a fantastic formula. This isn't really related to the formulation of this particular polish at all, but I really do like that Mooncat included Topper in the name of this particular polish. So anywho, Sugar and Spice Topper had a fantastic formula. You are going to get a whole rainbow of colors in these flakies. In person, I was seeing lime green, green, teal, blue, purple, and magenta. There also is a very delicate holographic sparkle in this particular polish. And I must say, now that I know that this polish is actually a matte finish polish, I do find the addition of the holographic glitter in here extra interesting, because if you were unaware, usually matte plus hollow don't really mesh super well, which is why I didn't realize why this was a matte topper. I thought it was just drying down very, very dull. Generally, matte finishes kind of like dull your holographic sparkle, so I feel like it's kind of cool and interesting that they opted to put holographic glitter in something that was gonna, you know, dull the rainbows. The flakies and glitter spread very evenly and easily. I didn't find that the flakies or the glitters dried down particularly textured. For my full-length swatches, it does indeed show the polish with glossy top coat, because again, I didn't realize it was matte when I was swatching it. Because this is in a clear base, you can really put it over whatever color you want. Probably is gonna look better over like medium to darker colors, just because iridescent tends to look better over the colors like that. But again, if you don't mind the look of PP flakes on your nails, you could put it over white too if you want.
What?
I will say I don't particularly care for how this one looks over most of the polishes in this release. I feel like, especially over the metallics, it doesn't look good to my eyes personally, but that's gonna come down to personal preference. You can build this one up in 3 coats if you really want to get a whole lot of flakies on your nails, but even when built up in 3 coats, this is not gonna be able to reach full opacity. Removal is gonna be pretty straightforward for this particular shade. I would definitely recommend the soak off method or a peel off base coat. Don't try to scrub off all those flakies. It's not gonna be fun. Okie dokie, let's do some comparisons. So I actually had a pretty hard time trying to think what I thought in the Mooncat catalog that would be similar to these polishes. So if anyone has any suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comment section. And if I have the polishes, I will indeed get them compared. So to compare the Firebird, I pulled out Dark Omens and Sin Eater. I pulled out Dark Omens because this is also a thermal, and I thought it might be kind of similar color-wise. And I pulled out Sin Eater because it seemed like it has the same kind of flakes as the Firebird. Okay, I just blasted it with my hairdryer to get these to show in the warm state. So surprisingly, I feel feel like the Firebird is indeed fairly similar to Sin Eater in the warm state. I'm really glad that I did catch that. But as you can see, compared to Dark Omens right here, Dark Omens has a significantly lighter warm state than the Firebird does. But it does look like the Firebird is fairly similar to Sin Eater, just in the warm state. I was really stumped on what to compare Nightbreak to, so I ended up pulling out Outlaw Country. So I believe the formulas between these two shades are indeed the same, but Outlaw Country is actually a more silver color than Nightbreak is, but the formulas seem pretty dang similar. I also pulled out Hell is Other People to compare to Nightbreak, and I really don't remember why I did that. So yeah. I was really stumped on what to compare Atomica to, so I pulled out Pearl Clutcher. This was recommended by somebody in my Discord server. So I don't think the formulas on these are the same. I feel like Atomica is very much a metallic, and while I suppose you could call Pearl Clutcher also metallic, I feel like because it's white and has this kind of pearlescentness to it, but I could see someone calling this a metallic one as well. And to compare Sugar and Spice Topper, I pulled out Everything Taco from Hollow Taco in Fantasia from Cert Colors. I had really wanted to compare this particular one to other flaky toppers that I have that are still currently available that have like a variety of different colored flakies. I feel like in comparison to Everything Taco and Fantasia, I feel like Sugar and Spice Topper, it doesn't have, it's rainbowy, but it's not as rainbowy as these two other shades. Like I feel like Fantasia over here is much more rainbowy than these two polishes here, but it has a very strong kind of gold lean to it. I do feel like Sugar and Spice Topper is pretty similar to Everything Taco. Everything Taco also has those kind of holographic glitters in here. I do still feel like these two are definitely not exact dupes for each other, but they are similar. Sugar and Spice Topper also has a bit larger flaky size than the other two polishes. Okie dokie, so final thoughts time. So I'm actually having to change my final thoughts for this particular release, because when I originally wrote out my final thoughts for the release, I was heavily questioning why the topper performed so badly over the other polishes in the collection, but now that I know that it's supposed to be matte, like, I take back my complaints. We got a Rue, everybody. Say hi. So all in all, I think this was a pretty solid release. I do wish I knew which collection these polishes were supposed to be in. From my remembrances of Mooncat's like past year of doing collections, I don't know where these would actually fall in. I feel like the color story of this particular release, it looks good together, but it feels a little disjointed at the same time. Like I feel like the two metallic shades scream spring 1000%. The topper too, I can buy that as spring. I feel like the thermal polish doesn't feel springy to me, but Mooncat didn't say this was a spring release. They said that this was a Misfits release, and I suppose if we're counting Misfits as, you know, not fitting in, I would say they don't fit in. So yeah. Oh my god. Oh look, we can get a little Rue there. My personal picks for this release are going to be the Firebird. I just really like thermals, and I once again am very happy that Mooncat is adding like more stuff to their thermals, as well as the Sugar and Spice Topper, because I just really like them flakies. As far as pricing and sale information goes, the Misfits Part 2 collection is available right now on the Mooncat website, and this release is indeed considered limited edition. You can pick up all 4 polishes in this release in a bundle listing of $60, or you can pick up each polish individually. The Sugar and Spice Topper is going to be $15. Nightbreak and Atomica are going to be $17 each, and then Firebird is going to be $18. I would love to know what everyone else thought of this release. Are you planning on picking up? Have you already picked it up? What are your thoughts and feelings on the collection as a whole? Before we end today's video, I do want to give a very special shout out to my channel members. Shenanigans, Story Fans, your names of course all on the screen right now. We do have a members exclusive live stream happening this Friday, which for the day this video goes live is going to be later today at 4 p.m. Eastern time. If you would like to sign up for my channel memberships, there's of course a link for that in the description box, or you can click join next to the subscribe button. But as always, that is completely optional. Just like the video, comment the video, share the video, and you know, we are good. And again, if you're watching this on Friday, yes, there will be another video popping up tomorrow. So just thank you all for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a lovely week, folks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Peace out, y'all. Okay. Okay, are we done? No, we're not done. Atomica had a fantastic formula. Okay. Atomica had... You had to pick a loud toy, didn't you? Oh yeah, that's definitely getting picked up. Rue, I need you to pick a quieter toy. I don't know why. Maybe I wasn't supposed to be recording today. As far as my personal favorites from this collection, I would probably go with either Sugar and Spice Topper or the Nightbird. That was not called the Nightbird. Firebird. The Firebird.
When I get high, I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm ballin' like yeah.